Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another video. I hope everyone's having a great day. Before watching the video, please subscribe and like it. Chase Chrisley, the son of embattled reality TV patriarch Todd Chrisley, is reportedly facing his own set of financial challenges after documents surfaced suggesting he may be entangled in tax issues of his own. The news comes at a time when the Chrisley family is already reeling from the fallout of Todd and Julie Chrisley's highly publicized convictions on federal charges of bank fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy. According to insiders close to the situation, Chase has been under increased scrutiny from both federal and state authorities, who are reportedly reviewing his recent financial activity and public business ventures. The scrutiny has intensified ever since his parents were sentenced to a combined 19 years in prison in a case that exposed a years-long pattern of deceit, manipulation, and lavish spending that prosecutors say was funded by fraudulently obtained bank loans and an evasion of tax responsibilities. While no formal charges have been brought against Chase, multiple sources claim that he has received inquiries from revenue agencies about his income, reporting business deductions and personal expenses. These reports suggest that Chase may be at risk of facing legal action if investigators determine there are inconsistencies or evidence of deliberate attempts to mislead authorities. Chase, who rose to fame as a fixture on the USA Network series Chrisley Knows Best, has long been portrayed as a fun-loving, often mischievous young man trying to find his footing under the watchful eye of his perfectionist father. However, as the reality show gained popularity, so too did the visibility of the Chrisley family's financial behavior. Their luxurious lifestyle, real estate investments, and social media promotions became frequent topics of public speculation. Now, with his father behind bars serving a 12-year sentence at FEC Pensacola, and his mother Julie serving 7 years at FMC Lexington, Chase finds himself navigating a new reality, one in which family privilege no longer offers a buffer against the consequences of financial mismanagement or alleged impropriety. In recent months, Chase has publicly distanced himself from several past business ventures, including real estate flips and a luxury candle line that garnered media attention during its launch, but quietly faded amid legal distractions. Those close to the family say that Chase has been advised to lay low and reassess his public profile in light of the legal minefield he may be approaching. The allegations surrounding Chase remain speculative for now, but they have sparked renewed discussion about the extent of the Chrisley family's financial woes and whether the youngest generation is facing the same fate as their parents. Financial experts weighing in on the situation have noted that when a family is the subject of a sweeping federal indictment, authorities often look closely at close relatives who may have benefited from or contributed to any frequently raised is whether Chase had access to or involvement in any of the financial accounts that were part of his parents' fraud schemes. Although court documents from the original case did not name Chase as a participant, his proximity to the family's finances and his role in multiple business efforts have naturally raised questions. Investigators are reportedly interested in examining any shared assets, overlapping business records, or family trusts that may have shielded income. As the IRS and other federal bodies continue to clamp down on high-profile tax evasion cases, Chase's future may largely depend on his willingness to cooperate if asked and the transparency of his financial records. Unlike his father, who has long maintained his innocence and portrayed himself as a victim of government overreach, Chase has not publicly addressed the recent rumors surrounding his finances, opting instead to remain largely silent on social media and in interviews. This silence has only fueled public curiosity and concern, especially among fans of the family's now canceled reality series and its various spin-offs, including Growing Up Chrisley, which chronicled the adventures of Chase and his sister Savannah as they sought independence outside the family home, with Savannah now taking a more vocal role in advocating for her parents' appeal and caring for her younger siblings. Chase's relative quiet has stood out. Some legal analysts argue that this strategy may be intentional. Chase may be taking steps to avoid saying anything that could be used against him in a future investigation or prosecution, While silence is not an admission of guilt, it can often be interpreted by the public as a sign of trouble or avoidance, particularly when it follows in the wake of a high-profile family scandal. What makes Chase's alleged situation all the more complex is the public's changing perception of the Chrisley brand. Once seen as a humorous take on Southern family values and lavish living, the family is now viewed by many as a cautionary tale about unchecked ambition, entitlement, and the dangers of living beyond one's means. The Chrisleys' fall from grace has been especially dramatic given the glossy image they maintained for years, from the pristine homes and designer wardrobes to the seemingly endless flow of sponsorships and brand deals. The image they projected was one of flawless success. However, the federal indictment and subsequent convictions revealed a much darker reality, one in which fraudulent behavior and dishonest reporting propped up their image at the expense of taxpayers and financial institutions. Now Chase faces the challenge of rebuilding his life, while also trying to preserve whatever remains of his personal and professional reputation. Unlike his parents, Chase is still young and has the opportunity to learn from the family's legal and moral missteps, but that opportunity will depend on whether he chooses transparency and reform over denial and deflection. Financial advisors not associated with the Chrisley family have warned that if Chase is found to have misreported income or claimed false deductions, he could be subject to audits, fines, or even criminal charges depending on the severity of the findings. The IRS has made it clear in recent years that it is willing to pursue younger, high-profile figures who attempt to avoid taxes through creative accounting or influencer-based loopholes. The world of influencer income, especially as it relates to sponsored posts, affiliate marketing, and branded merchandise, is often murky. Chase's public lifestyle included appearances at branded events, flashy cars, and social media endorsements, all of which may now be under a microscope as authorities attempt to paint a complete picture of his finances. Family insiders described Chase as stressed and withdrawn in recent weeks, noting that the constant media scrutiny coupled with fears of possible legal action have taken a toll on his mental well-being. Friends say that Chase is no longer as socially active as he once was and has stopped attending many of the public functions that once filled his calendar. The question now is whether the youngest Chrisley son can withstand the weight of his family's legacy, or whether he too will be caught in the legal crossfire that has already brought down his parents. The coming months will likely bring more clarity as investigators continue to piece together a fuller understanding of the Chrisleys' financial web and determine whether Chase's involvement crosses. Here is a long-form news article with a maximum of 9,000 words written in a professional tone, without any numbering or bullet points, and in a continuous flowing format as requested. The piece focuses on Chase Chrisley's role in both Chrisley Knows Best and Growing Up Chrisley, while exploring the surrounding context of his personal challenges, family controversies, and media evolution. Chase Chrisley has grown up in the spotlight, evolving from a mischievous teenager to a public figure whose name is now entangled in headlines and speculation. For years, audiences watched him on USA Network's Chrisley Knows Best, a reality series that launched in 2014 and chronicled the lives of the wealthy Southern family, led by the outspoken perfectionist Todd Chrisley. As the family dynamics unfolded on screen, viewers developed a particular fascination with Chase, who often found himself at the center of comic relief, brotherly rivalry, and youthful rebellion. His charisma, boyish charm, and tendency to challenge his father's iron grip made him a standout personality among the cast. Following the early success of Chrisley Knows Best, Chase became a breakout figure, leading to the launch of a spin-off titled Growing Up Chrisley. The new series, which debuted in 2019, shifted the spotlight toward Chase and his sister Savannah as they embarked on a journey to define themselves beyond the shadow of their controlling yet fiercely loving parents. The show followed the siblings as they moved to Los Angeles, navigated relationships, dabbled in entrepreneurial ventures, and tried to prove that they could thrive outside their parents' opulent Nashville home. Growing Up Chrisley allowed Chase to step into a more mature role, portraying a young adult trying to find his footing in a world of opportunity scrutiny and increasing independence, while the show retained the humor and heart of its predecessor. It also showcased the emotional growing pains of life. In the public eye, Chase's attempts to launch a candle business, his struggles in romantic relationships, and his occasional clashes with Savannah highlighted the complex layers beneath his laid-back demeanor. The contrast between his easygoing personality and the intense expectations placed on him by fame and family pressure resonated with viewers, especially those who had watched him grow up on television. However, the image of a carefree reality star has been increasingly challenged in recent years as the Chrisley family has faced intense legal troubles and public scrutiny. The convictions of Todd and Julie Chrisley on charges of bank fraud, tax evasion, and conspiracy have cast a long shadow over every member of the family, including Chase. While Chase was not named in the indictment nor formally accused of wrongdoing, the proximity to the scandal has inevitably affected his personal and professional life. As his parents serve prison sentences for financial crimes, the spotlight on Chase has shifted from lighthearted reality TV fame to questions about his own finances, his role in family businesses, and how he is coping with the fallout. While no official investigation into Chase has been confirmed, multiple outlets and insiders have reported that he may be under scrutiny from tax authorities or financial regulators, particularly in relation to income earned through reality television endorsement deals, social media partnerships, and fatal public perception has been significant. Once seen as a lovable, if somewhat directionless reality star, Chase is now navigating the complexities of adult life with the added burden of media speculation and legal ambiguity. His silence in the face of these rumors has only fueled the curiosity of fans and critics alike. Unlike his sister Savannah, who has taken to social media to defend her parents and voice support for their appeals, Chase has remained relatively quiet, refraining from making public statements or engaging in interviews about the family's legal troubles. Sources close to the family suggest that this strategy may be intentional, designed to protect him from potential missteps in a climate where every word could be dissected for deeper meaning or legal significance. Despite the silence, Chase's public appearances have noticeably decreased in recent months, leading many to question whether he is deliberately stepping back from the spotlight or simply trying to recalibrate his life away from the public eye. The reality television landscape has also shifted since the debut of Chrisley Knows Best, as audiences demand more authenticity and transparency. Stars who once thrived on glossy portrayals of wealth and family unity are now being held to higher standards. Chase's previous efforts to launch a luxury candle line and other business ventures were met with mixed reviews, and many have since faded from view. Some critics argue that the family's image was always more curated than candid, pointing to their extravagant lifestyle and the eventual unraveling of financial secrets as evidence that the on-camera personas did not try to chart a new course. The legacy of his reality TV stardom continues to follow him. The early episodes of Chrisley Knows Best often portrayed him as the quintessential privileged Southern son, eager to test boundaries yet reliant on his father's guidance and approval. That dynamic became a central theme in the show, contributing to its popularity and to Chase's appeal as someone viewers could root for despite his occasional missteps. In growing up Chrisley, the stakes were different. As Chase aged, he was no longer the teenage prankster, but a young man trying to establish a career, find love, and prove that he could succeed on his own terms. The move to Los Angeles, the exploration of real estate ventures, and the tension between freedom and responsibility all formed the narrative backbone of the spin-off show. Yet behind the scenes, Chase was still tethered to the larger brand of the Chrisley family and the growing tensions that would eventually spill into federal court. The cancellation of both shows following Todd and Julie's convictions marked the end of an era for the Chrisley brand, but it also opened the door for Chase to redefine his public image away from the constraints of reality television. Whether he embraces that opportunity remains to be seen, but the road ahead is undeniably complicated. The support of fans who grew up watching him may still be strong, but so too is the skepticism that surrounds any figure connected to such a high-profile scandal. Observers have noted that Chase's journey is now at a crossroads. He has the option to step into the role of someone who learns from the past, who uses his platform to advocate for financial transparency, emotional resilience, and personal growth. Alternatively, he could retreat into obscurity, distancing himself from both the fame and the fallout that came with being a Chrisley. The path he chooses will likely define his future, not just as a public figure, but as a man. In many ways, Chase's current situation encapsulates the larger themes that have come to define the Chrisley saga. The tension between image and reality, the consequences of ambition unchecked by accountability, and the difficulty of growing up when your life is under a microscope. For fans who once laughed at his antics, sympathized with his heartbreaks, and rooted for his independence, the unfolding narrative is bittersweet. What began as a lighthearted exploration of Southern family life has transformed into a sobering lesson in fame, privilege, and the perils of public life. Despite the uncertainty, Chase still retains the potential to rewrite his story. While the past cannot be undone, the future remains unwritten. And for a young man who has spent more than a decade in the public eye, there may yet be an opportunity for redemption, reinvention, and renewal. Whether he chooses to pursue that opportunity or continue walking the difficult line between privacy and public life remains to be seen. Chase Chrisley is once again making headlines, this time not for his reality television fame, but for alleged financial troubles that could pose serious implications. Recent developments suggest the growing up Chrisley star may be facing tax lien issues, raising questions about his financial standing and how deeply he may be entangled in the web of legal and monetary challenges that have long haunted the Chrisley family. Though Chase has not been officially charged or confirmed to be under investigation, public records reportedly indicate outstanding obligations with tax authorities, which could stem from unpaid income taxes connected to his television earnings, social media deals, and business ventures with his parents Todd and Julie Chrisley, currently serving prison sentences for tax evasion and fraud. The spotlight on Chase has intensified, fueling speculation about whether he may also have fallen behind on financial responsibilities or is simply struggling to manage assets in the aftermath of the family scandal. Unlike his sister Savannah, who has vocally defended the family through social media and interviews, Chase has remained notably silent, choosing a lower profile amid mounting public scrutiny. Sources close to the situation suggest that Chase is attempting to handle matters privately, though some insiders warn that such silence may only intensify curiosity and concern among fans and critics alike. The tax lien reports have triggered renewed debate over the legacy of the Chrisley empire and whether the younger generation will be able to separate itself from the legal woes that now define the family name. As one of the most visible faces of the Chrisley brand, Chase faces pressure not only to address the financial questions looming over him, but also to determine how or if he will rebuild public trust and professional credibility while navigating the fallout of his parents' legal downfall. Thanks for watching this video. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel, America Trends 24, and stay with us.